Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie and it's actually my first ever YouTube video. I just wanted to hop on here. Something has really been on my heart lately, and so I just kind of wanted to share a bit about, as you probably saw by the title, what to do and how to feel, how to react when God says no. So whether it be that job, that relationship, that great idea you had, God is going to say no to things that we wish He would say yes to in our lives. And how do we deal with the disappointment that comes when God does say no to things that He doesn't have planned for us, that we think we have planned for ourselves? So I kind of just want to start off by saying that we're often told like prayer is powerful, which it really is, but sometimes it's hard to feel as if God hears our prayers. It's like kind of how do we know? You know, I'm kind of just talking to myself. But the thing is that we know, we are told in the Bible that He hears our prayers and He hears and knows our struggles. And that's something that has been really important to understand, and something that I have also been learning to better accept, is that a no is just as much of an answer as a yes is. So just because, you know, you're not getting the answer that you want doesn't mean that it's not an answer. And I think a lot of times, like especially in our society, like we want things really bad, and we kind of live in a place where like, oh, if you just work hard enough, like you'll get there. But sometimes you work hard enough and God still says no. So I kind of just have a few notes just talking about that, because I think a lot of times we're like, okay, God, like this door is supposed to be opening and, you know, it's sealed shut, like what's going on there? Another important thing that I really found while preparing to make this video was something that said rejection equals redirection. So God's no is not like a worldly no. When God says no, it's so much farther beyond our grasp and depth of knowledge. And so I think just it's important to just trust in that, because He knows things that we don't. He sees things that we can't. And there's going to be things in life that we can't understand, we don't understand, we don't want to accept. But at the end of the day, like through relationship with Him and just deepening your faith and spending time in the Word, like it'll be easier to accept those no's when you understand and you know where those no's are coming from, or why we just need to trust and have faith that God will turn our no's into something even better. So I kind of just wanted to start with a verse. It's very basic, but it's still super powerful. The first one is Jeremiah 29:11. I'm sorry if you've heard this verse a billion times, but it's just as relevant the 50th time as it is the first. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And I just think that's really important to start off with, because our plans can be ruined. They're worldly, right? We have plans that we think are best for us, but God has a greater plan, and He has plans to prosper you, to not harm you. Are there going to be hard, hurtful things in this world? Yes. Does that mean that His plan for you is any less valid? No. And I think just going right along with that, like when we have that faith and that trust in Him, we can see a little bit, like you won't understand it, but you could know in your heart that his plan is better than any plan you could ever have for yourself. And I think oftentimes, like, we say, like, okay, God, like, I will give you my life and I will allow you into these portions, but I really want that relationship, or I really want that job, or I really want to move, or the list goes on and on. I mean, we have to surrender everything, and as scary as that is, like, and so beyond like our depth of understanding, we are not capable of making decisions for our lives. Like, can you imagine if everyone just got to completely go off free will and just do whatever? It would be chaotic. And God is capable. He's fully and totally capable. And so I think that we really, especially the hard things, have to surrender those and just know that, like, he's got us and we're good. So another verse that I really loved on this topic is Isaiah 55:9. It reads, "As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." I think this is just really important to remember, because we don't know everything. We aren't God, you know. We don't know if we're gonna get that job, or, you know, who we're gonna end up with, or things of our future, but he knows. And just as the heavens are higher than the earth, his plan for us is higher than anything we could ever imagine. Even if your life on earth doesn't look how you think it would be, as long as you're following him in relationship with him, like, our time on earth is literally a vapor. Like, it is so insignificant compared to eternity with the Lord. And I think that we oftentimes forget that. We get caught up in worldly things. We get caught up in just the things and people of this world, and we're easily influenced. But what we have to understand is that God, his ways, his plan, everything is so much higher. I mean, there's going to be death, there's going to be suffering, there's going to be heartbreak, there's going to be all these terrible things, because we live in a broken world. But when you're in relationship with him and you allow him into every aspect of your life, it's easier to accept that he has a plan for you, and his ways are higher than yours, his thoughts are higher than yours. And we really just have to relinquish that control, that false sense of control that we think we have, that we really don't. Another thing I wrote, we have to stop holding on to things that aren't meant to be ours. We have to stop holding on to things that are not meant to be ours. So God will say yes if what you're praying for, what you're talking about, what you're asking for, what you're planning on doing is in accordance with his will and his plan. He'll say yes. He's not going to hold something from you that he's already decided is going to be yours. So we have to stop having in our mind, like, oh, that, you know, that job is going to be mine. Like, yes, it's so important to have a growth mindset and be like, okay, I really want to work as hard as I can. You know, I want to be successful in this aspect of my life. I want that job. I want that promotion. But at the same time, like, if it is meant to be yours, this sounds so cliche, if it's meant to be yours, it will be, because God has already decided that it's going to be yours. It's going to be a part of his greater plan for your life. And I think that's just really important. He's not a greedy God. He's not gonna withhold things that he knows will prosper us. He's not gonna withhold things that give us a future. He's gonna withhold things that harm us. He's gonna withhold things that hurt us. And that doesn't mean we're not gonna have any hurt at all, but if you just look at the bigger picture and understand that his plan is so unfathomable to us, and that we just have to dive in with faith and just go for it and just trust him with our lives, like, the sooner you do that, I guarantee you that the easier it will be to let go of things that hurt and let go of things that are hard to let go of. Because, like I said, if it's meant to be yours and he has that in his plan for your life, it will be yours. Another thing, dealing with that disappointment of, just like, oh man, like I really wish, I wish that would have happened. Or, wow, this path I'm taking is going to be really hard now. I think that that's the best way for me, but for some reason, like, God's not allowing it. I have another verse for that. So Joshua 1:9 reads, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." So not only is he guiding our way when we put trust in him and showing us the path, but he's with us even when it seems like, oh, why is that person sick? Why did that relationship not work out? Why am I not close with that family member anymore? Even in those hard parts of our journey and our path, he is still right there with you. Okay? He is with you wherever you go, wherever he takes you. So even in the deepest valleys, the darkest nights, like, he will still be with you, and he has a plan for you that's greater than you could ever imagine. So yeah, just, he has our futures written, and no matter how hard something seems in the moment, like, cling to him and just understand that his no is not to hurt you, it's to help you. Another aspect is that discomfort and hard times bring about growth, and they bring about a closer relation with God. And that's something that's so important, because his no could really just be a chance for you to realign your life with him. And his no, as much as it might suck in the moment and it might seem like your world is just shattered, maybe that's him saying no because he knows that your heart needs to change, and that you need to become closer with him, and that there's room for you to grow. And there's always going to be room for you to grow. There's always going to be room to learn more and grow in relationship with him and get to know him more. Fill the void of that no, whatever it is in your life that's created when that no is spoken over you. And when God takes away a worldly thing, fill that void with him. Nothing will satisfy you like God's love for you and a relationship with him can. And still be joyful, still praise through the no. And I know that there are a lot of different types of no's, and obviously a lot of them don't compare to one another. But no matter what it is, if you just give it to him and meditate on the fact that he has a plan for your life, and he is so, like, he's all knowing, all powerful, just let this time be a way for you to recenter your life around him. Another thing that I've personally struggled with is letting go of that false sense of control that we as humans like to have. I'm a big planner. I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna write out my 5-year plan. Basically, we have to let go of that false sense of control, because as soon as you let go of that, the easier it will be to let things come and go like waves through your life. And if you're clinging so tight to that false sense of control and you're like, no, I really want that, like, it must have been a miscommunication or something, because that's mine. I'm supposed to be having that. Like, I spent so much time on that. I've worked so hard on that. Like, they did nothing to deserve being sick. As soon as you let go of that false sense of control, God will replace that with peace, and it's peace that, like, transcends all understanding. And once we understand how little control we actually have in our lives and have relationship with God, and know that he will prosper us and he has a plan for us and it's greater than we can imagine. It'll be easier to be like, oh, that's, that doesn't feel right, or that didn't work out, or, I haven't heard back from that interview, or, well, I'm supposed to be married by 25. What do you mean? As soon as we let go of that false sense of control that we as humans naturally harbor and give it to God, I guarantee you your life will get better. Like, when you're living in peace and knowing that the Lord has a plan for you, it will just immensely change your life and how you view things. So another verse that we wanted to touch on is Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So if you have a relationship with him, you know that you have been called according to his purpose. No matter what you do, there's room in your life for you to serve his purpose and to just share the gospel and grow with him. And God works all things for the good. Everything that is good comes from him and stems from him. So if he's saying no to something, it's probably not good. I mean, I think we've all had those times where you kind of like look back on your childhood and you're like, oh, so that's why my mom didn't let me eat 5 candy bars before bed. Like, that's a super stupid example, but we all those times when you look back and you're like, okay, now I understand. I mean, with God, we're never gonna understand, but we have to know that the same concept occurs with him, okay? He can see things just like your mom could see when you were 5 that you couldn't see, and you think in the time, oh, why is my mom taking that away from me? Like, that would be so fun, so cool. And then you realize, you're like, have you ever seen a 5-year-old hopped up on chocolate? Like, no wonder. And I think that just, he works all things for good, and our prayers cannot outweigh his sovereignty. Like, we don't get to decide, and like, that is the coolest thing ever, that we have someone looking out for us and who knows everything about us, who knows the number of hairs on our head, and we don't have to deal with stuff. We do have to deal with stuff, but we don't have to worry about making decisions. We just have to give it to him and just let him lead you to where he wants you to go. His plan is greater, and just remember that, hold on to that, and just have faith in him and know that he is your creator and that he wants you to prosper. He wants to take care of you. He wants you to be happy. And we will face hardships in this broken world, but through them all, he's still with us and he's still good. So like I said, I just had that on my heart. I just wanted to share. So I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.